All right, we're live. Happy Saturday night to whoever it is who is on this thing with me. 6 folks at the moment. Thank you for being early. Um, yeah, like always, please feel free to let me know who's here, who's hanging. I always appreciate your comments and such. It's funny, it's like you're alone in a room, and even someone just being like, hey, it's so and so, it increases the energy. Hey, Mom. Hey, Matt. Well, Matt, I'm going to try to make it not suck. That's always uh that's always my goal. That's our mantra. Hey, Anne. Thanks for popping on. Good to have you. Anybody else care to make themselves known, or you just want to remain anonymous on the internet? That's fine too. I get it. People ask me often why my Facebook account recognizes me as a she, and it's because I don't think Facebook has any business knowing my gender. But also, if it just kind of reads my name, it could probably figure it out. I'm guessing they seem like smart enough people, or smart enough robots, depending on how you look at it. I'm going to give people another couple minutes to kind of stumble in here before we get moving. Hey, Jenna. All right. Jenna, Sam, Arlo, Granny, and Poppy, thank you guys for hanging and watching. There's others. You guys are just like lurking in the dark of the internet over there. So, did everybody have a chance to enjoy the beautiful weather yesterday? I don't know what it was like in other spots of the country, but it was like summer. And then all of a sudden, in like 5 minutes, it turned back into like early spring, late winter at night. But it was my birthday yesterday. I turned 34. People usually guess I'm 28, and I'm hoping that's just because I look young, not because I'm immature, but take what you can get. All right. Thank you, Dan. Yep. 1 year older, hopefully wiser. Who knows, though? All right, so whether you knew it or not, showed up to a You Choose the Record stream. And the record that was chosen from the online voting was The Bright and Shining Lights of Anywhere Else, which was the second record I ever released. This record was produced by myself and Gordon Persha. He also engineered and mixed it. It was mastered by a guy named Trevor Sadler, who actually used to be here in Milwaukee and then moved to North Carolina, I want to say. Um, the artwork was from my friend Marky Hldash, who's actually a really amazing tattoo artist these days. You can find him on Instagram. Um, but yeah, so that's just a little bit of some of the background. I wrote down some things because I forget stuff all the time. But just wanted to remind you guys, May 30th is an all requests live stream. So if you get those requests into me, I will do my best to get to yours. But I may also be joined by two other members of the band. So it should be like a three-piece. It should be a lot of fun. So get your requests in. I finished recording all of your requests from the last one, and that album will be coming out and getting to you guys who donated more than $20. So again, thanks. If you want a copy of the Bright and Shining Lights, just comment on this. Hannah Evan Trey, what's up? So yeah, just comments in here. Send me your email, and I will send you a digital copy of the Bright and Shining Lights of Anywhere Else if you enjoy this record. Funny story about this record is that I stored these albums at my parents' house for a while, and there was a giant flood that destroyed about 200 copies of them. So there are only 2 physical copies in the world today that are unopened, and I don't think I'm going to sell them. They're in my desk drawer, I want to say. My brother may have a couple in his house, but who knows? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. But hey, quick shout out to Evan Lane. He is now he's been doing some vocal coaching with me. So if I sound particularly good tonight, it's because of him. If I sound particularly bad, it's because I haven't sung these songs in a while. But if you're into like the idea of doing some vocal coaching or whatever, Evan is a fantastic singer. We play together with Miss Paige Hargrove, and yeah, he does vocal lessons and is really great at it. So hit him up, and a special thanks again to Caleb and Vanessa Hall. Vanessa owns Hedwigs Hair Salon. Caleb owns Guise Alterations, and that's where I am streaming from. So my office is in the back. They let me hang here and keep all my stuff here and stream from here. So I really appreciate it, guys. Hit them up if you need something altered or an awesome haircut. Anyway, okay, back to the album. It was Chicago. The year was 2008, 2009. I had transferred into Trinity International University with my first record, which was The Broken Season Turning. Had to kind of start over. Met some folks, joined the band. They became the Broken Bones. And we started writing this album. I wrote the whole record. I want to say, I'm trying to remember who all actually ended up recording on it because we went through a decent amount of ins and outs. Phil Vickers played guitar and lap steel. Nate Goss played banjo, mandolin, and electric guitar. Drums was Nick Greener. Bass was Marcus Anderson, I want to say. Some auxiliary stuff by Gordon Persha and myself. Fiddle was Mary Flo, and backup vocals were Heather Hldash. Yeah, this record is a lot about longing. It is about division, about looking for contentment in other places, temptation. It's about a lot of things. I'll kind of pick out interesting stories as we go. But we'll start with the first one. This song is Gold Rush. And I remember Facebook was still a new thing. It was about 2 years old, 3 years old maybe. And, we all kind of spied on each other and tried to see what we were up to. And a girl that I had had a crush on in high school, I had found her and hanging out, stalking on Facebook. Wasn't the greatest thing, but, came up with a song called Gold Rush from that. So here we go. Let's get into this record. I likened you to a train falling off the rail, spewing smoke and dust and fire and filth from out your mouth. And I'm sure you find your love sitting at the end of the bar, brandy on his breath he'd lie straight through your crying eyes. I likened you to a gold mine, all the men gathering hordes, just a handful of touch, agreed that it ain't much, but they're still gonna take you home. And I'm sure they take care of you, the little desert flower. Well, the band is coming at and like the wind, steal your petals away. ba 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 dum dum. Ba 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 dum dum. Ba 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 dum dum. Ba 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 dum dum. And ba 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 dum dum. And I liken you to a train falling off the rail. All right, so that was Gold Rush. Next song on the record is Neon Signs. It is funny to listen back to this record for me because, one, it's been a while since I've played any of these songs, so I'm still, getting some of the rust off even as I go. But it's just funny when you hear things a little differently, obviously, after 10 years have passed and you got a bit more perspective and skill under your belts, hopefully. But Neon Signs was a fun one. It was a song that I don't know. Normally I would have written as far as just like musical structure was concerned. It's a lot of chords that I don't often put together. This one was a fun one, but I was listening to it and I was like, good gracious. Of course I was, 21, 22, 23 while I was playing it because this song is so fast. I'm like can't keep up with it anymore. But this is a song about temptation. This is a song about what happens when you full bore follow down the road of desire and see where you wind up. So this song's called Neon Signs. Fiery red lips, glowing like a neon sign in a dark district. Got the devil's straight teeth, the dirty asphalt walkway quite familiar to my feet. First I stayed by your window, oh, for just a peek. Foolish expectation turned to casual defeat. Conceded from the start, I gave you every bit of my broken heart. Leave it at the door, set it down on your way out. Telling all my friends this can't keep happening, no. Leave it at the door, set it down on your way out. Telling all my friends this can't keep happening, no. Well, I ain't been sick like this, so I thought, in so long. You pressed those fiery lips to mine, and then you're gone. Well, you left me here instead, rotting corpse to stain the sheets of your empty bed. Now I'm outside on the curb, barely breathing, alive, and I ain't sure that all this really happened. Yeah, did all this really happen again? Conceded from the start, I gave you every bit of my broken heart. Leave it at the door, set it down on your way out. Telling all my friends this can't keep happening, no. Leave it at the door, set it down on your way out. Telling all my friends this can't keep happening, no.
shut up. With so much at stake, still I can't look away, but I hate myself and these regrets are all that's left. I conceded from the start. I gave you every bit of my broken heart. You leave it at the door and set it down on your way out, telling all my friends this can't keep happening. No, you leave it at the door, set it down on your way out, telling all my friends this can't keep happening. You leave it at the door, set it down on your way out, telling all my friends this can't keep happening. No, leave it at the door, set it down on your way out, telling all my friends this can't keep happening. No.
All right. So that was Neon Signs. Sorry, I've got to shut my phone off. I forgot to do that. It was buzzing at me here. Yeah, so this album, it was created in a very sweet time, very tumultuous time, but kind of restarting and kind of deepening old friendships for me. Oh, thank you, guys. Written the first time I ever went to counseling was kind of during this period, and so it was a lot of looking under rocks and seeing what you find, and considering motivations and my motivations for things. And the next song on the record, it's a song called Wolves and Sheep, and I was reflecting on the way I understood love and dating, and at that time in my life, and seeing how much was centered around this idea of posturing, and it was much less. I mean, I don't know that things have necessarily changed, but was struck by how much pressure there is to kind of put this best foot forward, ignoring kind of what's behind and what's under the surface. And so yeah, this song is called Wolves and Sheep. On the record, Heather sings. It's a duet. So if you want to hear how it sounded, this album is actually only streaming on my website. I took it down because hosting sites for having stuff stream, they take money from you for every disc that you have on there. And after like 4, I'm just like, how many things can you have out there? Anyway, this song's called Wolves and Sheep.
I'm a wolf, dressed as wolves should be. You're a sheep and you're preying on me. What pretty eyes, what large teeth, hang tightly in rows. You found me out for once, intentions to prove. You found me out, and all I cared for was you. After all, you're not that different from me. With great past to hide and a heart so marred it starts devouring. So hold those sutures tight, a chance the stitch will bleed. Smile and open wide, baby, I'm coming in. these teeth. They're not what they seem. Precious little hands. Why couldn't hurt a flame? Will you follow me home, or am I just someone to get to know? You'll see it ain't so bad, no. Now hold me close. You found me out. For once, intentions to prove. You found me out, and who really cares for the truth? After all, you're not that different from me. With gray past to hide and a heart so marred it starts devouring. So pull those sutures tight. A chance the stitch will bleed. Smile and open wide. Baby, I'm coming. Baby, I'm coming. Baby, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Wolves and Sheep. Checking them off as we go. Yeah, so this record was written over a couple year period. And it's funny, it was written during my time in particular at, a private Christian school, which there were things that I loved about that experience and things that I absolutely hated. And it's actually kind of funny listening to some of these words now, how there's a lot of sexual themes in this stuff. And it's funny because it's written from a place where you're like, you have to sign a thing that says like you won't drink, you won't smoke, you won't do anything that people associate with college. Which is fine. It was a fine way to kind of do things, but it's interesting to just see some of those themes come out. Anyway, next song on the record was Chicago, which is a song I've played a lot over the last several years. It's a fun one. Oh, Jen, I'm glad Arlo's having a good time. That video of him spraying himself in the face on Instagram was killing me. So Chicago. I feel like I've told this story a lot. I don't know. Maybe some of you have heard it. I had this kind of... It was an interesting gap in between albums. So I recorded 3 albums, and then I moved to Wisconsin, and then I've recorded another 3 since. And I don't always know the full stories that people know, and they don't. So trying not to bore anybody, but still, give some people backstory that maybe they don't have. It's like you have this whole other life to connect people to. But I wrote Chicago in a very frustrated place. It was one of those songs that just kind of wrote itself. So I started my college education out in Indiana at a place called Taylor University that, I did not connect with basically whatsoever. I felt very out of place. I was trying to kind of, make sense of my life and myself, and it was not a very welcoming place to do that for me. I felt like it was a spot where if you had all the answers, you were doing great, and if you didn't, you were either cast out, or people were just like, why can't you just kind of like toe the line? Why can't you just be normal? Why can't you quit doing weird stuff? And, those aren't things that I do very well. I love doing weird stuff, and sometimes I'm kind of a jerk, and sometimes I'm a little abrasive, and sometimes I'm a little wild, and so had a lot of questions too about faith that nobody seems particularly interested in kind of walking through with me. And anyway, all that said, I kind of had this underlying distaste. And anyway, I went to go book a show there for my band because I'd played a couple times out there and did okay. And I don't remember who I was dealing with, but they were just a total pill to work with. And eventually I just kind of gave up. But, gave me kind of the runaround on trying to book a show out there, and had just kind of finally had enough with all the BS. And so I wrote a song in all of my frustration called Chicago. And this is about wanting to leave Indiana and come back, as I did basically in the middle of the night one night after a semester ended. I packed the car. I told about 2 people I was leaving, and then I just left. So here you go.
It's not just one place, it's the entire state. My disposition constantly reigned. The imperfections that I see jut out like dissonant harmony. The people they don't mind, at least they're seen. Then all those foolish things I bought, all the late night coffee talks with blue-eyed girls who were constantly confused. After grabbing, hold me down to introduce me at their house. Sorry, darling, but I have to remove. So, Chicago, take me home, please. Enough is enough. I spend my sympathies. I bit my tongue and took to the streets. I packed my bags. Please let me leave. Well, somewhere too much makeup, others too much perfume. Mouths that swing agape when somebody leaves the room. Just keep talking in your haste, accenting what you hate, and I'll forget all your names with much relief. Cause they always had a little word for me, some rehearsed, bitter, clever speech. It's true, if I had faith, then I believe. And all you holiest of saints, point your fingers my way, cause I'm the sinner in the rain, saved by grace. So, Chicago, take me home, please. Enough is enough. Oh, I spend my sympathies. I bit my tongue and took to the streets. I packed my bags. Please let me leave. Well, it's every minute detail. It's like glass under my nails. And everything you entail was all the same. I just kept clenching my teeth and struggling to breathe. But I've come home, Chicago. So, Chicago, take me home, please. enough is enough. Why spend my sympathies? Why bit my tongue till it down me bleeds? I packed my bags. Please let me.
So that was Chicago. Oh, thanks, Joe. Glad you like the backstories. Drew, good to hear from you. I love you too, man. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Love you too, Aunt Mary. Thanks for jumping on. So that's Chicago. That song has traveled across state lines, plays well everywhere except in Indiana. So good thing actually, you know what? It plays pretty well in Indiana. I played it at a house show a couple years back, and people were like, "Yeah, I get it," which is nice. It's nice when people can be realistic. But yeah, I mean, I know I've probably told all you, my tires got slashed in Indiana. It's just every time we went, there was always something. Anyway, the Cellar. This was one of my faves. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of stuff. So my good friend Joe, he just released a new record under the moniker Badger, Bajjer. You can see his name in the comments there. Go check it out on Bandcamp. You can buy it. It's really sweet. I've not bought my copy yet, but I've listened to it, and I very much enjoy it. Good work, my friend. Anyway, okay, so The Cellar. I think I've only really ever written one song in my entire life about an ex, and that was this one. And it was about kind of that weird space that you occupy after a relationship breaks down, but you still are in contact and trying to figure out those weird murky waters of, can we be friends? Can we exist, or do we have to just hate each other? And we tried existing near each other. It was, I think, easier for her than for me because she dumped me. But this tune is about opening up the windows, opening up the doors, letting all of that out after kind of that weird runaround of what is this going to look like now that it's over. So this is The Cellar.
Soft and warm, window by the corner, light pours over your face. The shadows, they crawl across the bedroom floor, just rising and falling in place. But each letter you ever tried to write wound balled up on the floor, a mess of ink and sentimental things that you think maybe I should know. And I can't recall if you ever loved me once in your life. I still can't say at all. The kiss was just the rules to prove me wrong, and I just can't carry on like this anymore. Beating still my heart, stop it with both of your hands, and you'd hold it tight throughout the night until morning, assumed it's safe. But the blood, it's stained deep in your skin, and you can't hide the evidence. So you'll bury my palms and burn out my nose. notes and then retrace your steps to my bedroom window. Still I can't recall if you ever loved me once in your life. Though I still can't say at all. Your kiss was just a ruse to prove me wrong, and I just can't carry on like this anymore. In a damp, dark cellar, you sing from the top of your lungs while tethered. Be freed from this house, leave while you can get out, and we'll breathe deep for once. I still can't no, I still can't say at all if your kiss was just a ruse to prove me wrong.
Sorry about that. Blanked on those words. That's the Cellar. Hey, if anybody has any questions about this record, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. I would love to answer them. Also, if you feel like giving some dollars, feel free. You can PayPal me, pietrinizach@gmail.com, or if you just go to zachpietrini.com/store, you can drop some money my way that way, which is always super appreciated and helpful in this COVID time, the age of COVID where concerts are digital. Which honestly, I think like I miss the energy, but I have to imagine the way that I would want to see a show is one, to be able to pause it, and two, to like totally listen, but also like I can use a blender and it's not gonna like ruin the vibe. That's kind of fun. That's like a really good freedom to have. Cause I don't know, what are you making, margaritas or something? That'd be awesome. Saving money, hopefully with somebody you love or at least like. Anyway, Apparitions. This tune was fun. I kind of hesitate to play it solo because I just feel like it misses so much of the punch that the rhythm provides. There was a lot of auxiliary percussion on this track. There's a cool little banjo part. There's a full drum kit. It kind of bangs when it comes out. But anyway, yeah, this record for me too is interesting because I do really love these songs, but I feel like I've changed so much in my writing. Sorry. I just got a text from my wife. Anyway, as my voice has changed and you listen back, you're like, wow, things are very different in every way you can imagine. But Apparitions is about cutting off addiction and cutting off the road to it. And I remember in counseling going through that and kind of processing some of those things. And the night I decided to just cut some things out of my life, I remember like physically shaking, knowing that I had made this decision and kind of set up some boundaries and parameters for my life. And that was a lot of the motivation and the inspiration for the song Apparitions. So I'm going to try to make sure I get this right. Anyway, here you go.
This house seems so familiar. Bodies getting closer, touching skin. We never speak, but those eyes sink so deep in. And I wonder what you're thinking, 'cause it's not me. Still my strongholds keep holding, and my backbone keeps folding faithfully. And these ghosts keep appearing, they won't stop whispering. Oh, my demons speak so sweetly, don't you think? But tonight I am just walking away, killing our feelings. Oh, my weak heart is healing, and I am more distraught than I think. I'm giving up hiding, but you hold so tight inside me. It ends tonight. I'm cutting every tie. I'm twisted up inside like balls of twine. Forgive my sighs, I confused your love with mine. I'll sit here and just hide till morning comes. So my strongholds keep holding, and my backbone keeps folding faithfully. And these ghosts keep appearing, they won't stop whispering. Oh, my demons speak so sweetly, don't you think? But tonight I am just walking away, killing our feelings. Oh, my weak heart is healing, and I am more distraught than I think. I'm giving up hiding, still you hold so tight inside me. Him again. It all seems so familiar, broken up and bitter. Please save me.
Oh, thanks, Jane. No worries. You do what you have to. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, man, this was around the time that I met you. Was a lot of these songs coming out and writing, so it's fun. It's kind of like the soundtrack to this other life that it's been so long since we've lived. But it was a very sweet time in like a lot of even like Kaylee and Mai's relationship centered around going to shows together, and we'd hang out. She'd come for the whole deal, work merch, chill, and it's like these really long, intense times. However, a lot of this stuff while I was writing too, she was gone in England. She had just graduated, and went out to England to help women exiting prostitution, and got to spend some time out there. And meanwhile, I was kind of going through a really rough state, and it was hard because she was actually doing exactly kind of what she was made for, and loved it. And I was at home really struggling, and it's just a really hard place to have those kind of conversations when someone's having like the time of their life and another person's in a really dark spot. But as a result, I just don't really think I cared for her the way that I intended to. It was our early relationship, and we did not have a great we didn't really enjoy dating. We've really enjoyed being married, but we definitely did not enjoy dating. We're very sensitive. We hurt each other's feelings all the time. There's more stories about that later as the album progresses. But the next song on the record was "I Never Wrote a Letter," and it was about that time of being depressed and trying to figure out our connection and what we were doing in this relationship, and feeling the tension of wanting to pull away and being afraid, but also knowing that this was something that I really wanted to give my love and energy and best efforts into. So as kind of an apology, she got this song on the record, and it was me saying, "Hey, it wasn't you, it was me. I couldn't write to you that whole time." So anyway, this song's called "I Never Wrote a Letter," 'cause I didn't.
She said the fog lifted south of the city. While the fires burn bright in my head, consuming my it cuts the night in two. Cuts the night in two. Half my heart somewhere else, and the other half with you. Your eyes remind me of a roadside motel, right as the vacancy sign welcomes me. Instead of one, there's two. Instead of one, there's two. Half my thoughts somewhere else, the other half's with you. Well, she said the dawn's breaking, and it's only for you. Still, I don't see no sunshine, just a majestic and desolate view. Impose my will into. Impose my will into. And while you gaze up at my face. I wonder why you do.
All right, so that was my apology to my wife. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time, but you get the gist. So yeah, this record was recorded one part's at a studio in Ukrainian Village in Chicago, and the other part in a basement in it wasn't Gurnee, but it was a little bit farther north of there, somewhere around there, with my buddy Gordon, and we had an interesting time doing it. It was fun. We were doing like full band sessions and then kind of solo overdub things, and he was a good dude. I miss working with him. He's in a band called Los Colones now, and they're super busy and doing pretty well, and that's pretty fun to see. But yeah, one of the days it was so funny. We were in Chicago and tracking, and Kaylee ended up coming out to the studio for the day, and she took the van to go pick up some lunch. And it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, and I get a phone call on my killer flip phone. And she's like, I need you guys to come over to the McDonald's on whatever it was. She's like, I locked the keys in the car, and the car is running. And so our studio session was interrupted by having to break into our vehicle and get it back to the studio. And I remember just being so pissed. But yeah, funny story. Things you laugh about now. Difference in sound that you're aiming for. Oh, good question. So my friend Joe asked me here, how would you describe the difference in sound that you're aiming for with the album you're working on versus your last couple? So the album I'm working on right now is kind of it's still very much singer-songwriter at the core of it, but it's dressed up very different. I've been listening to a ton of like 80s Bruce Springsteen, as well as the singer-songwriter David Ramirez, who messes around with a little bit more like atmospheric tones, and but still having this very like warm analog feel. The whole record that we're working on is very analog and using a lot of vintage equipment. This stuff was more like, I don't even know exactly what I was aiming for. Outside of, I had just discovered Jacksonville City Nights by Ryan Adams. My brother showed it to me, and that record totally changed how I looked at songwriting and sounds. But also, Joe, you actually shot me this record. It was the Snake That Crossed the Crown, Cotton Teeth. And so it was kind of like a new take on old music. And so I suppose it hasn't really changed that much. I'm still kind of there where it's like, 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the present, and you kind of see where it winds up. But certainly the new record sounds way more analog, way more mid-ranged, and like thick, where I feel like these ones are a little bit more polished and a little bit more, I don't know. It's kind of like jammy too, I don't think I did a lot with like writing parts on this record. I did a lot of just songwriting and let people kind of fill in the gaps without much feedback or direction. And so, this one is a little bit more jammy. My new stuff is a little bit more deliberate, I would say, is probably the biggest difference. So anyway, good question. Thanks for that. The next song is a song called Jacqueline. And this song was 100% written around this quote in The Life Aquatic, which at the time was one of my favorite movies. I loved Wes Anderson. I still actually do. I love how dry and depressed all his movies are. But there's a line while Steve is it's Bill Murray is giving a tour of his submarine and boat, and he's showing this person around, an interviewer around, and she stops and looks at one of his tattoos, and she says, it says Jacqueline on his arm, and she goes, "Who's Jacqueline?" And he doesn't even answer the question. He just says, "She never loved me," which for whatever reason, it always just kind of hit me in my chest, and it kind of reverberated out, and it turned itself into a song in me. So that's this tune. I'm going to do the 2015 reanimation, or 2016 reanimation of it, which isn't very different, but I like it better. Anyway, This is Jacqueline.
Whoa, you're stealing away. The night takes back the wanderer who once lay next to me. It's not your fault, well, I guess that's safe to say, but I still feel your ghost rustling in my sheets. Whoa, Jacqueline, come home to me. I once knew something of your family, and all that splintered when I chopped down that tree. Oh, Jacqueline, you never really loved me. Nights are getting colder, and I can't very well sleep out on my own. With long brown hair, a stallion's mane, a wide-eyed beauty far too wild to tame. Look right here, when you say you love me. The bottle starts to pile as your picture slide far behind my bedside. Oh, you're stealing away. The night takes back the wanderer who once lay next to me. It's not your fault, oh, I guess that's safe to say, but I still feel your ghost wrestling in my sheets. Oh, Jacqueline, come on to me. And in twilight colored in a rusty gray, your jawline pointed out miles away. Oh, Jacqueline, this is where you live. You slammed the door tight, you ran out of my sight and back on home. And I wonder why I use these colors to incite a dingy gray painted far too bold and bright. Oh, Jacqueline, I suppose you love me, but the memories don't match the canvas that I have, just the one I wanted. Oh, you're stealing away. The night takes back the wanderer who once lay next to me. It's not your fault, oh, I guess that's safe to say, but I still feel your ghost rustling in my sheets. Whoa, Jacqueline, my faded memory, my faded memory. Come home to me.
All right, that was Jacqueline. Oh, thanks, Steve. I'm guessing that is Steve and Baxman 13, but I could be wrong. Thank you. So hey, two more off this record. We're at 8, so I don't want to push it too much longer. But I did say I would play the Nashville EP. So if you want me to play it, feel free to stick around after I'm done with this, and I'll play it for you. But if everybody jumps off, I will not. So the last two songs, Tennessee. This tune is a couple different things. It was one I kind of meandered through while I was writing. It was one of the first tunes that we got to record as a band. We tried to do some like recording ourselves. It didn't really turn out too well. We recorded at Columbia University or college or whatever in Chicago with a friend who was in the engineering program, and then we finally put it on the record. But I wrote this song just about feeling lost, being depressed, feeling out of place, and not really knowing who or where you are, wanting to go back home, wanting to feel something familiar. I remember when I had transferred into this new school after, a very jarring experience and then being alone, working construction in a winter. Um, I, I, I felt this song very much, and it kind of was like hanging with me for a long time, which is why it took me, I think, so long to write it. But it like paused a few times, so it was like one part, just that sense. The other part was there's one of my favorite short stories is by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's a story called The Ice Palace, and it is about this northern tycoon who entices this southerner to marry him, and she moves up north and ends up hating it. And anyway, so that was also part of the motivation for this tune. And then it was stuck about 80% of the way, and then my wife, my then girlfriend, that day that day I asked her out. She said yes. We kind of hung out for a minute. She went back home. I went back to my dorm, and I got a phone call, and she said she broke up with me. So that was the final clincher to finish this tune. So that's Tennessee. I got another question here. So looking back, which do you think is the best song on this record, in your opinion, not your fans' opinion, and why? Ooh. My favorite tune on this record. Lordy, lordy. My favorite tune, I think just for what it symbolized for me, and I just really enjoy the writing on it, was probably The Cellar. I think the idea of just like breaking with the past and letting things go. I really enjoy the wordplay in it, and always had a fun time just screaming into the microphone at the most dramatic point. And the violin solo in it is really nice on the record. And anyway, yeah, thanks for that question. I don't know. I think fans pretty much identify with Chicago the most, because that one is kind of a ruckusy, fun jam. But and I still do love it. I just have played it so many times that you're just like, wow. This song, it's like on my deathbed, who knows, maybe I'll be singing it. Anyway, this song is called Tennessee. It's actually called Tennessee, I'm Burning for You, but I got too lazy when I passed the notes off to the graphic designer.
City street, stumbling down dark alleys, cigarettes and whiskey bulging out my jeans. Alone on New Year's Eve, lights they shine until and displeased. Each one seems just as lonely as I am. The coldest of nights, a heart lost fight, and here I am, wondering if you ever love me again. Oh, where do you sleep? How can you in this damn city, dreaming of the simple life, sleep out the Tennessee countryside? A kingdom cut from ice among the multiplying high-rises, and I wonder how it is. A heart so soft has been covered in thistles, but I burn this whole city down. Only a match to set a spark, but alone I can't hold my hands. Still enough to start the blaze. The coldest of nights, a heart lost fight, and here I am, wondering if you ever love me again. down my cheeks, and I can't get them out of my dreams. Forget what they mean to me. Where the hills roll endlessly like tears stream down my cheeks, and I can't get them out of my dreams. Forget what they mean to me. Where the hills roll endlessly like the tears stream down my cheeks, and I can't get them out of my dreams or forget what they mean to me.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Glad to get you that harmonica you need. All right, so this is the last tune on the record, and it's called Outlaws. It's kind of another song about breaking with parts of your past and parts of yourself, and just deciding not to run anymore, but face down the things that you've done wrong and face down the things that you're not super proud of, and make them right. So this is all kind of packaged up in the metaphor of kind of outlaws on the run, but one choosing to break from that life on the run and just kind of turn back and face the music. So yeah, this one is called Outlaws. Again, thank you guys so much for your continued support. Gosh, this has been such a weird time in our life. It's a weird time for the music industry. It's a weird time for anybody trying to make a living doing anything creative or in the service industry or anything like that. So anybody who is willing to just help, it has made a huge difference in my life and in my family. It has really helped us kind of shift into this idea of living out of an idea that there will always be enough, that there's an abundance and not a shortage. So thank you guys so much. So again, if you wouldn't mind tipping, that's a huge help. But if not, I'm just happy that you're here spending your Saturday night with me, and I'm honored that you do that. And again, if you're on this and you donate any amount of money, I would love to send you a copy of this record if you don't have it, or even if you do and you lost it and you want it, or whatever. Please just let me know in the comments or text me or DM me somewhere. But again, the 30th, I'm doing another live stream that's all requests. It can be my songs, it can be other songs, but if you get it to me early, I will get it on a list. It'll be on the thing, and it'll be recorded and released on the All Requests Volume 2 that will be coming out whenever that stream's done. So anyway, that's a lot of what I got. Let's play Outlaws, yeah?
When we search this house, screaming and shouting all night, we were turning over couches and cutting the mattresses to find the money we owe. Then a voice not so brave came on. We saved is gone. So we headed down south, train that cut out before midnight. And oh, the nights are so cold, burning like hell's got you through. Joe, how much farther to go till grace takes the shape of the Georgia state line? I ain't partial to life on the road. I ain't scared, I just wanna go home. Call me shy, call me blind, but I really can't find a reason to run the rest of my life. Railroad ties drag the time since we left our home. And I watched as you slept, as the countryside kept its promise to hide us so well. If that sheriff come round with he wanders on our part of town, we'll sleep unconcerned. The cat would be earned, deserving a cell and a sentence. And oh, the nights are so cold, running like hell's got you through. And Sally, Joe, how much farther to go till grace takes the shape of the Georgia state line? And I ain't partial to life on the road. And I ain't scared, I just wanna go home. Call me shy, call me blind, but really can't find a reason to run the rest of my life. And I ain't partial to life on the road. I ain't scared, I just wanna go home. Call me shy, call me blind, but really can't find a reason to run the rest of my life.
All right, guys, that was the Bright and Shining Lights cover to cover. Hannah, I love you too. Thank you for loving Gold Rush. That is kind of your song, isn't it? Okay, so technically speaking, we've done the whole deal. Oh, thanks, Ben. Appreciate that. I will definitely play the Nashville EP if people want to hear it. If you guys want to just bounce, that is totally fine too. Somebody, if you want to comment, even just one vote, and I'll play it. But if not, like I said, no worries. Also, while I have you, I'm thinking about printing sweatshirts, but they're insanely expensive. Is anybody, first of all, two questions. Would anybody be interested in buying a sweatshirt? One. And two, what is like the maximum amount of money you're willing to spend on a sweatshirt? Thanks, Aunt Mary. Please feel free to leave the comment. That's very useful research for me as I have you here with me. I'm also starting to look into doing some more stuff that is like subscription based, not necessarily through Patreon. It's actually just would be just through my website. I'm curious if anybody would be willing to chat with myself / one of my buddies who's going to be doing some research for me about participating with artists and supporting them So if you're at all interested in being like, you know, a case study in that, let me know, and you'll get some sweet swag from me. Um, ooh, okay. Kid sizes. All right, 35 or so. Becca, that's what I was thinking. Like 35 or 40 was kind of my thought for a sweatshirt. You definitely buy, no matter the cost. Sweet. Okay. That's super helpful, guys. I need to sell like 20 of them cuz it's like straight out the chute it is so stinking expensive. But if you guys will I'll put together a design and I'll put it out there. Um so I won't keep talking. I'm going to play some of the Nashville EP. Well, I'll play the whole deal. And then we'll call it a Saturday night. I'm going to go home and try to get my bowels feeling well again. I've been on this insane diet, and I cheated like crazy yesterday because it was my birthday, and I was woken up 3 times last night with a fart attack, 3 separate times, and my guts still feel terrible. So, anyway, because you guys were all very interested, this song is called "Like the Pain."
Knocked out, drag out, draw it all out, like blood when the blade breaks skin. He used to believe even troubles had meaning, but that line is raised thin. Drinking and trying to forget you've been crying. Now all that's left is the truth. You kinda like the pain. You kinda like the pain. You kinda like the pain. Whatever it takes to feel something. Silence and stagnance, working your penance, doing just what you intend. Wrecking yourself, marching through hell, like there's just one way this ends. Drinking and trying to forget you've been crying. Now all that's left is the truth. Kinda like the pain. Kinda like the pain. Kinda like the pain. Rush from the cuts and the scars they leave, and I wish that you knew that I love you. And those words in your head are just lies. Breaking down ain't a weakness, but we all need help sometimes. You kinda like the pain. You kinda like the pain. You kinda like the pain. Whatever it takes to feel something.
I'd love to walk through your process writing these lyrics and a bit about your process of writing lyrics in general. That's a great question. Man, I'm trying to think. Gosh, this one was just like having this overwhelming sense of between myself and a couple of my friends who really wrestle through depression, just kind of internalizing that feeling and all of the times realizing there's a quote and I forget who says it, but it's like uh, the hell you know is better than like the future that you don't, and how a lot of times we remain paralyzed in our own brokenness just because we're used to it and it's comfortable. And I was just kind of overwhelmed by that sense of just stuck, being stuck in a dark place. And so this one was kind of the verses kind of were ones that really came pretty quickly. And knowing too, like walking people through advice, it's hard. I think when you're in such a dark place, and especially if you're somebody of faith, I found that faith communities have a very hard time with depression because they don't often know how to engage in something that like you can't just like pray it away. And so feeling that tension and sitting in that place with somebody or with yourself, it is a dark spot to like rest and be stuck. And as you give advice, I just remember that the line that you used to believe even troubles had meaning, but that line's razor thin, as a reference to even self-harm and a reference to the advice that's often given. But those were kind of the lines that were really kind of resonating in my head. But yeah, then the idea that you just start liking this self-destruction, and but didn't want it to be just like a downer song either, that there is hope even in that. And so that's kind of what I tried to convey. But so I had a good chunk of the song written, and I decided the bridge would be a good spot to provide a little bit of levity, knowing too that like there are people in our lives that can dance that fine line and can walk into those dark places with us, and it's really important to be able to identify them. So that was that song in particular. I mean, lyrics are a lot of times these days it's just like sit down and do it. But good question. Oh shoot, Drew, you're on the East Coast. You are an hour ahead in babies. I totally get it. Thank you so much for jumping on, man. I really appreciate it. All right, this is my last tune. This one, again, was just kind of a reflection on life, on the idea that, I feel like it's taken me so many years to just get to the point where I feel free to own the things that I want and say it out loud and not feel ashamed for what it is that I want, even if perhaps, it's annoying or can sometimes be hurtful. But I think usually, you own those things and you make them right as you go. And I was reflecting on people in my life and situations I'd seen where just the lack of self-awareness or the lack of just owning a desire caused a lot of damage. And so that's what this tune is about. This is the other side of the Nashville EP and the last song for this evening. It's called Just a Boy.
Trotting down the edges of your life, you quit drinking whiskey, you took yourself a wife. But if you were really honest, you still think from time to time you would have chosen different had you ever mapped your life. But you were just a boy in love. Your heart a broken compass that your brain couldn't adjust. A boy in love, and just a boy in love. I don't think that you ever meant her ill. The caverns in your heart were impossible to fill, and you could have passed right through the lonely home you built. Retreated deeper, now you're dying on that hill. But you were just a boy heart a broken compass that your brain couldn't adjust. A boy in love. You're just a boy in love. You and just a boy in love. Your heart a broken compass that your brain couldn't adjust. A boy in love. It's hard to find true north when that needle starts to rust. A boy in love. You're just a boy in love.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Again, May 30th is the next one. You can put your requests in on the Facebook event, which I believe is bouncing around. You can text me, you can message me. But yeah, get in a request. Let me play your favorite song. Do that. Again, thank you so much for hanging out. It's a lot of fun. Thank you, Ben. Ben, thanks, dude. I think Ben has a new song out right now, so check out Ben Harold. Right now. Steve, man, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping on. So fun to hear from you guys. Yeah, May 30th, see you back here. Get me your requests. I'm going to be on the lookout for sweatshirts and stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. Watch something good on Netflix. Hug somebody you love. Make yourself a nice drink. I'm going to go eat a high fibrous something and try to pass all this trail mix. Anyway, again, thank you all so much for your support. Thanks for hanging with me. If you want a tip, again, it's just zachpietrini@gmail.com or just on the website. If you want a copy of this record, please respond in the comments or, again, text me or email or whatever. Love you too, Joe, man. Thanks for jumping on. Hope the release has going well. It's a good release weekend. Again, check out Badger. Check out their new tunes. We're going to get them up to Milwaukee to play a show at some point. They were actually supposed to be playing a show on my birthday yesterday, but again, everything's closed. So, yeah, dude, thanks again for jumping on, and thanks for asking some good questions. All right, y'all. I love ya. Peace.